This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, in today's session, I'm going to discuss about the variables. How to declare a variables in Python. Okay, there are various basic data types available like string, int, float, double. Okay, these are the various data types are available like list, set, tuples, and then yeah, there are various data types are available. Now, in this session, I'm going to show how to assign a variables. Everyone knows if you assign a variable, the name is attached to a particular object. The name is attached to a particular object. For example, hold a minute. I'm going to create one directory. I'm going to create one directory. The directory name I'm going to keep it as variables. I'm going to keep it as variables. In that, I'm going to create a py file, initializing a variable. Initializing variables. Initializing variables. I'm going to give the py file name. Now, I'm going to declare one variable. M equal to somewhat 30. I'm going to declare. You should consider this 30 is an object. 30 is an one object. If I give n equal to 60, it's going to be another object. Totally two objects are created. If you take Python, everything will represent in terms of object because Python is a object oriented programming language, highly object oriented programming language. If you declare a variable, you have to think like that. 30 is an object. The variable name m is referring to this object. The variable m is referring to this object. If I want to see what object it belongs to, what I can do? I can use a type. I know what kind of object belongs to. If I put m, it's going to show it's a integer object. What object it is? The class belong to int. You have to think like that. It's an integer object. If I'm making double quotes of 60, though you will think it's an integer object, because in double quotes you should say it's a string object. Whatever you mention double quotes, it will be a string actually. It will be a string. Now we're going to put the variable name as n. Variable name is n. Now another object is created that is called string object. It belongs to a class of string class. I'm going to create an object. The object is created. It is string object. The n is a pointer referring to that object. Totally, how many objects are there? Still, we have two objects. One is integer object. Another one is string object. String object. Because in Python you have to say everything in terms of object only. Because highly object-oriented programming language. Okay. If you take some other languages, Java or C or C++, the variables are statically typed. Statically typed. Statically typed means, for example, just I going to take Java now. Okay, variable declaration. In Java, what you will do? You want to declare the data type. The data type is string, and then you want to declare the variable name equal to variable name, and then the value will be hello. This is how you will declare in Java. But in Python, it's dynamically typed. Dynamically type means no need to assign any data type in the Python. Directly can assign a variable and then you can provide the value. In Python, it will though it's a dynamically, it's not statically. Sorry, it's not a statically one. It's dynamically typed. It's a dynamically typed. It will make the conversion dynamically. If you make 30, it will think it's a integer object. If you put in double quotes, it will think like it's a string object. It will be a dynamically typed. In Python, if you want to create a variable, you just assign a value and then start using it. Assignment will be done using equal operator. In Python, so you are doing some assignment, you have to use an equal operator. Okay. The interpreter will do all these things. If it is 30, it's going to be an integer object. If it is 30.9, what object belongs to? Wait, I'm going to comment this part. If it is 30.9, what object belongs to? Float object. Okay. This is how the interpreter is converted dynamically. Okay, no need to specify any data type like other languages. If other languages you have to mention data type. Okay, lifelong you can't change this. You can't change this data type. Okay, if you declared a string, lifelong it will be string only. You can't change. But in Python you can change. For example, m equal 30.9. Right now, it is a float object actually. I can convert into int object, integer object. Okay, I can change in Python, but in if you take other languages, I can't able to change. Once I define, the entire lifelong will be a string only, can't change. But in Python, we have some flexibility. We can change from float to integer. Okay, okay. Now, next thing I'm going to say, how to do a chained assignment. Next, we're going to see how to do a chained assignment variables. Chained assignment. Sorry, chained assignment in variables. Chain assignment means A equal to B equal to C equal to 300. Now you have to say how many objects are created for this. Only one object is created. But the single object having three references. What are three references? A, B and C. This is how you can make a chain assignment to the variables. But here, how many objects are created? 1, 2, 3 objects are created. This is a float object. This is the integer object. This one is string object. But a chained assignment, you can see here, I'm going to create only one object. The one object I have multiple references. I have three references. That like how to say, you have your own house, right? In the own house, 5 members are there. 5 members are there. House only one object. How many people are living over there? Around 5 to 6 people are living over there. The you people are variables. Your family members are the variables. Variable names, sorry, variable names. But house is only one object. Just consider 300, 300 is only one object. The A and B and C are referring only one object. Okay. Now you have to say control, is that right? Okay. I'm going to make D equal to 500. Now how many objects are created? Two objects, because 300 having only one object, it has the three variables referring to the same object. Three variable names referring to the same object. It's like a pointer. A, B, and C looks like a pointer. It's referring to the 300. Now D is created because what is happening over here is it's the value is different, right? When compared to 300, value is different, 500. That's why it's creating another object, and then the reference you can say the pointer is it's D. Is D. Okay, this is how you can make a chained assignment. This is how you can make chained assignment. Okay, now we're going to see variable types in Python. I already said to you, in many programming languages, variables are statistically typed. whenever you want to declare some variable, you have to mention the data type. With a string means you have to mention string type. In Java or C or C++, Golang, you have to mention the type. Then only you can able to declare the variable. Okay, without giving the data type, you can't declare the variable. But in Python, no need to specify any data type. Just put the variable name and then equal to assignment operator equal to and put that whatever object belongs to int object, float object, or string object. You can put anything. Okay, and then one more thing you have to keep in mind: the Python does not support char data type. The Python does not support char data type. It's about only string. Okay, even though if you give a single character, it will treat it like a only string only. Again, only one character here. Whatever you mention single quotes will be treated as string. Double quotes as string. Triple quotes also will be treated as string. Okay. Okay, fine. Now I'm going to talk about the object references. Okay. Okay. I'm going to talk about the object references. For example, I am declaring one variable, the string variable. In double quotes, I'm mentioning the string variable. Actually, what happens? Your interpreter going to allocate a memory for this particular object. Whenever you're typing some string or integer, it's going to create object. Object means what is happening? It's going to allocate some memory. It's going to allocate some memory. Okay. Once it allocates some memory, what is happening? After allocating memory, it has to give, we have to give some reference. Now f is the reference. If you call this reference, it's going to point the actual value. See, I'm printing the f. It's going to print hello. How it's pointing? Hello object is created, memory is allocated for the particular object, and then the reference will be pointer. Reference or pointer will be f. Once I call this reference, I'm going to get the actual string. This is how allocated. Okay. Now, okay, let it be. What I can do. Okay. Yeah, I will take one word. F equal to hello, right? F equal to welcome. And then m equal to 400. See, I use one variable f equal to hello. I reassign the same variable f equal to welcome. Now you should think what happened to this variable. What happened to this object? Sorry, what happened to this object? In the what the interpreter will do, the interpreter will do the garbage collection. Once it's not having any reference. See, previously it was hello, the reference was f, right? After that, I created one more object. I'm using the same reference variable. Now the f value will come. Now I want to deallocate this memory for this object, hello object. You no need to worry about, everything in the interpreter will take care. Interpreter will take care. Once it's not having any reference, f, what will happen? The memory will be deallocated. Memory will be freed. Memory will be freed. It will be deallocated. The memory allocation, what are the memory allocated for this hello? See, that memory will be allocated to welcome now. Okay. Now this hello is not having any reference. If I call printf, what output is going to print? It's going to print only welcome. Only welcome. It's not going to print the hello because interpreter is doing the garbage collection. Whenever it's not having any reference f, it's going to deallocate your memory. Deallocate means It's going to free your memory. Okay, that memory is going to allocate for this welcome. Okay, because welcome is having the reference f. Now this hello object is reference is orphaned. What is the meaning of orphan? Orphan means it has not having any parent, like that in English term you can say it does not having any parent or grandparent, anything you won't have. Like this hello is now is orphaned. It's not having any reference now because the same reference is given to welcome, right? Now welcome is having the string object and then it's pointing to the f. Whenever calling the f variable, it's going to point this welcome string. It's not going to print the hello. It's not a long-lived object. In Python, there won't be any long-lived object. If you take any languages or Python, Java or anything, it is a long-lived object. Whenever you declare the hello string, you can't able to change, right? Because string is immutable. You can't change. It will be a long-lived object. It's a long-lived object. But in Python, it's not long-lived object until this point of time. What are the references you have? Will be you can able to access the previous variables you can't able to access because it is orphaned. You should think in mind. Now this one is a string object actually. This one is your string object. Now which one is orphaned object? Welcome or hello?
Hello.
Welcome is orphaned. Hello is orphaned now. Okay. Okay, because it's not having any longer reference. Longer reference means it's not having a reference to f as of now. The reference f will be pointing to only welcome. Okay, it's not we can't able to accessible this hello because it's not having a reference. That's what we say. And then in general term, we'll say in computer term, we'll say lingo term that is called garbage collection. Garbage collection. The Python will take all kind of garbage and nothing to worry about memory allocation, deallocation. Okay, it's not statically memory allocation is not happening over here. In Python, dynamic memory allocation happening over here. Whatever memory will be allocated, deallocated. Okay, whenever you want to run some few programs, you need some memory. Without memory, you can't able to run any program in the virtual machines. Okay, and then you might have a question. You saying to me, it's a string object. I want to see the memory address. You're saying whenever the object is created, there will be memory address, right? I want to see the memory address. How I can see the memory address? Yeah, you can able to see. There is a one more built-in function. Using this built-in function, you can able to see the memory address. I'm going to show to you. Just print it, and then we have a ID. It's going to give your memory address. This ID function is going to give your memory address. ID of I want to pass the variables. What am I going to pass? F. Now the f is a pointer referring to the welcome object. It's a string object actually. Just print this thing, you will get a memory address. This is the actual memory address for welcome object. And then you might have a question. You said it's a chained assignment. It's a single object. Now this A, B, and C will have same address or not? Yeah, it will have the same address. This A and B and C referring to only 300. We have only one single object. It's going to have the same memory address. If you have doubts, you can print using the ID function. The ID function is nothing but hash ID. Every memory address will have some hash value. What are the values printing, right? It's a hash value. I'm going to show now. Print ID of A, print ID of B, ID of B, and then print ID of C. Now we're going to see the hash value of the what object it belongs to, integer object. You're going to see both should same, all three should get same address. Yeah, you can see that is same or not. This is the hash memory address. You're getting you can able to see the things 216 216 216 because they are creating only single object for single object. the reference is same. See, or single object, the three references we have three references. That's why it's showing we have created only one object. The address is same for all the variables, ABC variables. Okay, these are things you have to keep in mind whenever you're creating some variables. Okay, like if you have same value, better go for chained assignments. Better go for chained assignments. And then you have one more doubt as well. A B is equal to 300. I'm going to make B equal to 300. Let's check on this. Print ID of D. See what is happening over here. It's creating another object because I given A B C equal to 300, right? Creating only one object. I given the D value equal to 300. You might have a question like it's going to create only one object or not. It's creating two objects. Even though we have same value, it's creating two different objects. That's why if we have any same value, better go for chained assignments. If we're going for chained assignments, you can properly allocate the memory. You can utilize the memory efficiently. Instead of creating two objects, why can't you able to create a single object by going for chained expressions? By going for chained expression equal to, make it D equal to D. Now, if I print print ID function, hash ID function, I'm going to get the same address. Why it's getting like this? Wait. It's printing this D, right? Okay, it's printing this D value actually. I'll comment this as of now. Yeah, you can able to see for all four variables you're getting the same memory address. What is happening now? Instead of getting two or different objects, getting only one object, and then you are utilizing this memory efficiently. Okay, if you have same value, better go for chained assignments. Okay, now next thing you're going to see, what are the things we can see, like whenever you are initializing some variables, you have to follow some standards. You have to follow some standards. Camel case, your variable name should be camel case or should be Pascal case. Okay, there are various cases are available. Whenever you are declaring variable, you have to follow that particular standard. The first standard I'm going to say about camel case. Camel case. Camel case means, for example, I'm going to declare one variable number of college students. The second word should start with capital. What should be capital? And then third word is coming, right? College students. C should be caps. And then students. S should be caps. The unit cap should be a lowercase. Unit cap means when you're starting with any word, you have to start with lowercase, and then any next word is coming, you have to start with the uppercase. This is nothing but a camel case. Second and subsequent words are capitalized. I can say in general terms, second and subsequent words are capitalized to make the word boundaries very easier. See, number is one word boundary, right? And then another word boundary is off. I'm making the OS unit caps. And then third boundary is college. I'm making this unit caps. This is nothing but a camel case. What I can do, number of college students equal to some 26. Next thing is Pascal case. This is how you have to maintain some standard while declaring the variables. Pascal case. Pascal case similar to camel case. Okay, similar to camel case. In Pascal's case, the first word also is capitalized. The first word also capitalized. I go into the same variable. I going to make the first word as capitalized. That's it. of n. I'm going to make it as capital N. This is nothing but a Pascal case. The last case is going to be a snake case. Snake case. Snake case. Words are separated by underscores. Simple time I'm going to say. Words are separated by underscores. Now, how many words are there here? 1, 2, 3, 4 words are there, right? I'm going to make it as underscores, but everything should be a lowercase only. College underscore students, nothing but a snake case. Snake case means we have to make it underscore, everything should be a lowercase. This is how you have to declare a variable. What object it belongs to? What object it belongs to? It's an integer object or string object or double object or float object, which object belongs to? It's an integer object. This is a float object. Again, this is going to be a, I'm going to change it to string object. Stan is going to be a string object. Just make it a somewhat 90. Okay, these are the very basic things you have to keep in mind whenever you declare say variables, and then if you have same value, better go for chained assignments. Okay, and then if you are assigning the variable to another variable, the previous variable value can't able to access. Okay, it will be garbaged. It will be garbage. It will be done by the interpreter. The interpreter do the all kind of memory allocation, deallocation automatically. Okay. Now, next thing you're going to see how to do the packing and unpacking in the method arguments. Packing and unpacking the method arguments. Okay. Packing and unpacking. Okay. Yeah. Now I'm going to take one list. In the list, I have 4 elements 1, 2, 3, and 4. I have one function. Whenever you're declaring a function, you have to use a def keyword. Def stands for define. Def stands for define. I'm going to create a method validate. Validate. Okay. I'm going to print those values. This validate method having 4 arguments A, B, and C and D. I'm going to print the value. This method is going to print only the values A, B, C, and D. For this method, how many arguments I have to pass? I have to pass 4 arguments. Then only it will print the A value, B value, C value, and D value.
4 values.
In the list, how many values I have?
4.
4, right? 4. See, wait. For understanding, I can say I'm going to call this method. Now we're going to call this method. Okay. On default module will be a main module. Okay. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to call this validate. I'm going to call this variable, list variable, right? If I run this program, it's throwing type error. What is showing to you? Missing three required position arguments. B, C, and D argument is missing. Whatever you have passed as a list, it's taking only for this A argument. It's not taking for B or C or D. Whether I want to do the packing or unpacking, you have to think. Whether I want to go for packing or unpacking. It's already packed, right? It's already packed. Actually, list is already packed. I want to do the unpacking. I want to do unpacking. If you want to do some unpacking, I want to pass all four arguments. What you can do? You can use one asterisk for doing unpacking. You can do asterisk for doing unpacking. What is happening here? If I use asterisk, what is happening here, right? One is going to A. 2 is going to B, 3 is going to C, 4 is going to D. This is how you can do the unpacking. You can do unpacking. Okay. Now I'm going to increase my list element to 5. Whether I can be able to do the unpacking properly?
No.
Because whenever you are doing unpacking, the length of the list and the argument list should be same. Whenever you are doing unpacking, the length of the list, what is the length of the list? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And 5,
5,
what is the
yes.
argument? Argument should contain 4.
4.
Okay. If you run this program by doing unpacking, what will happen? Validate takes 4 positional arguments, but I given 5. But I given 5 arguments using unpacking. Okay. Keep in mind as a note, whenever doing unpacking, the length of the your list as well as argument list should be same. If I passing E, definitely it's going to do the proper unpacking for you. E comma E I'm going to print. That's what I made a rule over here is whatever the length of the list should be same as the arguments. Okay, this is how you can do the unpacking. Okay, now I can go for another example for this unpacking. What I can do, I can take for dictionaries as well. Dictionaries can I use, or that way I can go for okay, hold a minute. Okay, yeah, A B C D N E. Okay, next I'm going to discuss about packing. Okay, I'm not getting right now. I want to show one more example for unpacking as well. Okay, now next topic I'm going for the packing. I don't know how many arguments need to pass with Python function. I'm just blank. I don't know how many arguments I want to pass with the Python function. At that time, better go for packing. You can pack all the arguments in a tuple. Okay. For example, I want to perform some addition. Okay. I don't know how many arguments I want to pass to my addition function. See, if in addition you can add 2 numbers, you can add 3 numbers, you can add 4 numbers, more than 5 numbers also you can add. Okay, at the time better go for the packing concept. Whenever you're using packing, it will pass the argument as a tuples, because you're going to pack all the similar objects in form of tuples. Now I'm going to write one method. The method is very simple method. I'm going to do some addition operation. Def means define. I'm going to define some function. I'm going to calculate addition. In that I don't know how many arguments I want to pass. I can add two numbers. I can add three numbers. I can add four numbers. It depends on situation. Okay, I can add 1,000 numbers as well. Okay, okay. If you don't know the what is a number, I'm going to add just put asterisk of arguments. You can give any variable name over here. Okay, you can pass any name over here. Asterisk of arguments you can pass, and then use the return statement. If someone calls this method, I'm going to return this operations. What operation I'm going to perform is some operation I'm going to perform, and then what is argument name? Arguments. That's it. Copy and paste it here. Okay. This is how you can do the packing. When I started doing packing, it will pack all the arguments in a tuple. Keep in mind. Now we're going to call this method. How to call this method? Add and then pass some values. What we can do, just what I can do, right? I can use print statement, because in this valid I use print statement over here, but in add I use 110 keyword. It won't print in the console. For that I have to use a print function, and then inside add method I'm going to pass some values. What things I can pass: 1 comma 2 comma 89 comma 90. Okay, like this I'm going to pass some values, and then you run over here. I got the values 182. See, I can give any values: 90, 67, 45. Because addition, I don't know how many methods are going to add. Today I'll add two numbers. Tomorrow I'll have five numbers. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, I'm going to add 20 numbers. Okay, you have to do what the concept belongs to: packing. It's called
Packing.
packing. Packing. Most of the times you'll go for the packing and packing actually. Okay, in arguments I don't know how many values I want to pass, better go for packing. As well as if I want to split those values, for example, list having only length as 5. If I want to split to each arguments, better go for unpacking. Okay, fine. Don't get confused by the asterisks. Okay, if I want to pass in, let's see, if packing concept is not there, what do you want to do? You want to pass like this: arguments of 1, arguments of 2, and then arguments of 3, and then you can add only three numbers: argument of 2, wait, arguments of 3. Like this you can add. Okay, remove some function. Arguments of 1, right? Arguments of 1. So day after tomorrow, I want to add 10 numbers. At the time you want to change these arguments, and then you want to change this uh, calculations, everything you want to change. Not to avoid these things, what you're trying to do, just use an asterisk and then arguments, and then use sum operation. Just pass this args. Okay, 451. You can increase your argument as well. 90 numbers as well. 90, 91, 92. Okay, this is how you can perform the packing. Okay, now I'm going to show another example. Okay, I'm going to show another example of a packing. Okay, here I can write. Define function underscore 2. I'm going to perform packing operation. What do I do? I have to use asterisk and then just put some argument name args. Whenever you are doing packing, you can pack all the values in form of tuples. Tuple is immutable or mutable? Tuple is immutable or mutable? In previous class we have discussed. Tuple is immutable. If I want to change any values in the tuple, I can't able to change because I packed all those values in form of tuples, right? I can't able to change the value. If I want to change, the value in the tuple, I want to convert it to list. List is mutable. I can change the values of my arguments. Okay. Yeah, that thing I'm going to do. What I'm going to perform now for understanding. I'm going to print args. I'm going to call this function. I'm going to call function of 2. I'm going to pass some values 12 comma 13 comma 14 comma 15. Just run this program. What it is giving here? It's tuple. You can see the brackets. It is immutable. You can see the brackets is tuple actually because we are doing the packing. That's why it's giving the tuples. Now, if I want to change my arguments, what I can do, remove this print statement, get this argument as it is equal to list. Okay, I made a blunder mistake over here. I use a variable name as list. Try to change as list underscore 1. Okay, list underscore 1. Here also make it as list underscore 1 because I want to use list built-in function. I want to use. Okay, use a list built-in function and get the arguments here. Now this 12, 13, 14, 15 will be converted into list. 12, 13, 14 will convert into list. Now list is mutable. You can able to change your values. See how are you going to change? See, arguments of the position is now, yeah, after converting a list the position is 0, right? 0 equal to 28. Arguments of one value equal to 45. The remaining things I am not going to change anything. Just keep as it is. I am going to change only, instead of 12 I am going to change 28. Instead of 13 I am going to make it as 45. Already it's in tuple, we can't able to change. That's why I convert into list. I get in the arguments in the list. After converting into list, I using same variable name args. Args 0 will be changing 12 to 28, and then first index will be 13. Actually, I make it as 45. The remaining values are not going to touch anything. Okay. Afterwards, what we can do? Yeah. What we can do in the sense? Okay. I can do one thing. Just print args. That's it. If I run this code, what will happen? I'll get the values 28, 45, 14, and 15 I'm going to get. Now, can see the bracket. What happened? Now it's converted into tuple 2. list. Sangeeta, did you understood?
Yes.
Yeah. See, this is how you can do the packing concept. Once you're doing the packing, the entire thing will convert to tuple. Tuple is immutable, you can't able to change. Further, I can convert into list. List is mutable.
Okay.
I can change the positions. Zeroth index will be instead of 12, I can make it 28. Instead of 13, I can make it 45, and then I'm printing this value. This is how you can do the packing. Okay, now one more thing I want to do over here. One more thing I want to make it here is I'm going to get one more function and I'm going to call over here. Let's see how to call ABC. ABC if I call means okay. I'll do one thing. I'm going to create one more method. Listen carefully. In this method itself, I'm going to show how to do the packing and unpacking. Okay. Now I'm going to write one more method like func means function actually. Okay. Function underscore one. And then I have three arguments A, B, and C. Whenever we're using comma, just use a space and then colon. And then I'm going to print those A, B, and C. Okay. Now you have to say I'm going to call this func1 method in func2. I want to do the unpacking now. How I can do? In function 2, I want to call the function1 method. Just call this method as it is.
Uh,
And then what do I have to use?
asterisk
Asterisk of? Correct. Asterisk of?
fun.
No, no. See, asterisk of I want to pass these arguments. I want to do the unpacking. Unpacking means you understood, right? I got the entire thing as list over here. I got the entire thing as list 28, 45, 14, 15. Now, what I want to do, I want to do the unpacking. Unpacking means asterisk of, make it mute, asterisk of args. You might have a question, though the length is 4, though my list length is 4, but it has only 3 arguments. It's not going to accept. What you have to do? You have to add one more arguments for doing unpacking. Okay. Now you can see those outputs now. Now you can see this one is unpacked output. This one is packed output. This one is unpacking actually. Unpacking means splitting, that's it. Packing means adding all the values in tuples, that's it. This is unpacking, this is packing. I'm packing all the values and making it as tuples after converting tuples into list. This is how I'm doing packing. And then what I'm trying to do, I taking the entire list values and then I'm making 28 as A, 45 as B, 14 as C, 15 as D. I'll give 2 minutes of time. Just see this code. Actually it's a very simple code. It's fine. I have two functions, func1 and func2. I don't know how many arguments I want to pass. better go for packing. If you don't know how many arguments I want to pass to the function, better go for the packing. You use asterisk and then you can pass n number of values. The n number of values I passed is 12, 13, 14, 15. You can pass n number of arguments 56, 90. Okay, and then I converting tuple into list, and then I change the value of 0 array argument 0 equal to 28 and argument 1 equal to 45. Okay, after that what I'm trying to do, this arguments is right, I am doing the unpacking because here it contains 4 arguments. Now my how many arguments I have? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Actually it won't work. What do I do? It as E, F and G. And E, F and then G. Don't get confused. Yeah, you can see I did the proper unpacking and then I did the proper packing. Now I'm going to show one more example for you how to do the packing in dictionaries. How to do the packing in dictionaries. Already you know dictionary is key and value pairs, both key and value pairs. Now what I'm going to do, right, I'm going to define a function, make it as a function underscore 1, and then I'm going to have 3 arguments a, b and c, and then I'm going to print those arguments a, b and c. Now I'm going to define one dictionary variable name is dict underscore 1. Dictionary should contains curly braces. In the curly braces, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pass key and value pairs. A2, B3, B3 and the C I can keep 15, right? C is the key value 15. Now you're going to say how to do the unpacking. In my function, I have 3 arguments. Dictionary ones also I have 3 keys, right? A, B, C, and key. How to do the unpacking? If it's a dictionary, you have to use 2 asterisks.
Okay.
I'll call the main module now. I will verify the main modules there are not. To verify the main module, if name equal to, you have to write an if condition.
Please.
Make it mute. And then call this method func underscore 1. Dictionary, what I have to do is you have to use 2 asterisks to call the variable name. Call the variable name. Make it double equal to. Single equal to means assignment. Double equal to means you can able to check the equality. Why it's not printing? Why it's not printing? Dict underscore 1. So function underscore 1 we called, right? Function underscore 1. Why it's not doing the unpacking properly? Hold a minute. Sorry, I made a blunder mistake over here. Instead of yeah, now it will run. Yeah, I got the values. A value is 2 now, B value is 3, C value is 15. This is how you want to do the unpacking. You can unpack the dictionary. You can say unpacking the dictionary. Okay, can you help me out in packing? Can you help me out in the packing? How to do the packing? Just put on define the function name as function underscore two, and then I'm going to do the packing. Okay, go to the dictionary, right? I can use two asterisks. I don't know how many arguments going to come to my function. Sorry, I don't know how many arguments coming to my function. Okay, that's why I putting asterisk arguments, and then though you know that if you are doing packing, it's going to form a tuple. It's going to form a tuple. I'm going to print and show to you. Now I'm going to call func underscore two, func underscore two. Going to call the variable name as dict underscore one. You can see the what it's showing over here. Dict function two takes zero positional arguments, but one was given. Limit takes the positional arguments. Okay. For unpacking only, you have to use what you have to use. You have to use two asterisks.
Tuples
Okay.
test.
Double asterisk you have to use. For packing, what you can do, you can use only a single asterisk. If you are using double asterisk, it's not working at all actually. Okay. Now you can see the tuple, right? Inside the tuple, you can able to see the dictionary. Inside the tuple, you can able to see the dictionary. This is how you can do the packing. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about local variables and global variables. That's very important actually. Now, next thing I'm going to discuss about what is local variables and global variables. Global variables. These are all the basics actually. See, if you want to see all your keywords, if you want to see all the Python keywords, just import the module, keyword module, just use the print statement and use this module name dot keywords list. KW means keywords list. It's going to give all the Python default keywords. You can see right false, none, true, peg parser, assert, break, class, continue, def means define, delete, elif, else, except, finally, for, from, and then global. Okay. Now I'm going to discuss about this keyword local variables and global variables. For declaring a global variable, you have to use one keyword called global keyword. If you want to modify your global variable, at the time only you can use this global variable. Okay, we're going to discuss this variable as of now. If import in is lambda non-local. Okay, you can see all the keywords in Python, important keywords in Python. You have to use the import module, import keyword module. Now I'm going to talk about what is local variables and global variables. Local variables and global variables. What I can say to you, okay. I have one function. The function name is func underscore one. Sorry. I'm going to print some welcome. Keep like this. I have one variable 20. If any variable as declared inside the function, then we can say it's a local variable. Make a note. If any variable declared inside a function, then it is called local variable. Any variable declared inside a function, then we can say it's a local variable. You might have a question. What question is, though you said to me, once you define inside the method function, once you define the function, you saying it's a local variable. Can I able to access my local variable outside of the function? No, you can't able to access the variable outside the function. See, now I'm going to access outside. See, I coming out of the function outside. Now I'm going to print this m value. Print this m value. What is throwing over here? It's throwing exception as name error. Name m is not defined. You can say to me, m equal 20 is there. Why it's not printing? Because I already said to you, any variable declared inside a function, then it's called local variable. The scope visibility only will be in the inside the function, not outside the function. If any visibility or scope inside the function, then we can say it's a local variable. I can't be able to access variables outside the function. Now, if any variable declared outside a function, that any variable declared outside the function, that variable is called global variable. It having the global access. It's having the global access. I'm going to take this term, make it over here as any variable declared outside a function, then we can say it is a
Global
global variable. We can say the scope is not limited. The scope is not limited. It's globally accessed. This yes can be accessed inside also. You can see I'm going to access inside. I can able to access this yes inside as well as anywhere inside the function also I can use, outside the function also you can use. If I run this function, what will happen? What output is going to give? Can you say to me? For understanding, I can going to validate my module. If name, if my name is main module, then run these two methods. If my if I running over here, if my name module is main module, then you can run these functions. What function? Okay, wait, hold a minute. I missed the indentation. That's the issue. Yeah. Now what is output now? Just call the func one. What's the output? I'm going to get welcome 20 because yes is a global variable. You can access inside the function as well as you can access outside the function. Okay, I'm going to get the output as welcome 20 and then finally I'm going to print yes value 20. I'm going to get two outputs, welcome 20 and 20 I'm going to get. Can you see, right? Welcome 20 and then I'm going to get 20. That's why I'm saying it's a global variable. You can call this variable inside the method or you can call outside the method. It's having some global access. Like how you'll say in the Java, public access specifier, right? You can access anywhere in the class. You can access the same package, outside package, anywhere in the class. Same like that. You can call this global variable inside function, outside function. Okay. Can I able to call m? Can I able to call this m?
No.
No, because the scope is defined
Yes.
only inside the function. Defined only inside the function. The scope or visibility only defined inside the function. That is called local variable. Okay, fine. The interpreter is throwing some compile time error. You can able to see. unresolved reference m, there is no m like that it's showing because the scope is limited only to this function. Okay, that's why it's called local variable. Okay, it's throwing the error. See, you can see name error, name m is not defined. Okay, fine, let it be. Now you going to say to me, I'm going to make everything in terms of string object. Now I'm going to make your name. Okay, san. Now what is output? It's a little bit tricky question, not that much tricky. You want to say the output now. If I call function 1, what output is going to come? It's going to come welcome san or welcome 20. What output is going to come? Just think my theory. Like one or before I say the theory to you, Python is dynamically typed. You can once you define as a string object, in the next minute itself you can convert it into integer object. Okay, anything can change. Take that approach and say the answer. What output is going to come? If I call function 1, are you there?
This conference will now be recorded.
See, if I call this function underscore 1, what is the output? Whether I'm going to get welcome san or welcome 20. Because this one is a global
Welcome,
variable.
San.
No. See, though the global variable s equal to san, I'm going to call this function underscore 1 because I already said to you, once you declare inside the function, once you declare inside a function that is called local variable, inside the scope, local variable having the highest preference. Inside the function, local variable having the highest preference. Okay, you may think like though you said yes, this is a global variable for me, why is saying s equal to 20 local variable? I'm not saying it's a local variable. I change s equal to san to s equal to 20. Okay, now if I printing over here, I going to get welcome 20. Welcome 20 going to get. You can see welcome 20. For this print statement, it's going to print the san. It's a little bit confusing for you. I will sort out the things one by one. Okay, I'll take one notepad. This is the thing you have to understand. Okay, first, s is a global variable. Global variable. Once it comes inside the function, what will happen? This your interpreter will give the highest preference to this. It will treat this s as a local variable because you're declared inside the function, right? You will treat like a local variable. They treat like that. Local variable. Whatever value the s holds 20, the same welcome 20 is going to print over here. As per your view, as per your thought, if s equal to 20 is printing, okay, I'm making s equal to 20 in the local variable. If I call print of yes, it has to print 20 only, right? It has to print again 20 only, right? Your global variable has not changed. Your global variable has not changed right now. You're given s equal to san. Afterwards, after the interpreter, what thing is, it's like a local variable. That's why it's printing s equal to 20. Welcome 20. Your global variable has not changed. That's why after giving printers, it's printing only san. You can see whatever you have mentioned inside the function, the interval treat like a local variable. It's not going to affect your global variable, even though the variable name is same. Even though variable name and pointer reference are same, it's not going to change your global variable. Okay, keep in mind. Welcome of 20. Now I'm giving some WL. What's output? WEL. What is output? Just call this function 1. In the function 1, s equal WEL is there. Your interpreter will treat like this a local variable as of now, and then it's going to print welcome WEL.
WEL.
And then after that, you're going to call the print of s. This s is a somewhat local variable you can't able to access. It directly go to this s,
San.
and then it's going to print san. Okay. Now I little bit going to confuse you peoples. Okay. I'm going to do the concatenation. I'm going to do the concatenation. San plus will. I'm going to perform concatenation. Okay. If I want to make change to my global variable value, what I have to define one keyword called global one keyword. You might be wondering why this guy has used global keyword now. I want to change my global variable inside a function. I want to change global variable value inside my function. At that time, I want to use one global keyword. I declaring one variable global variable as yes. Global variable as yes. After that, what we hold right? This yes value will be san. Now, san plus or equal to means san sorry yes plus will like that. San plus will come. Find it with concatenated. It's going to print welcome of san WEL. Able to see right?
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Now I've changed the value globally. If you want to change the global value inside the function, you have to use one keyword called global keyword. Okay, now you have to use a global keyword. Now, if I declare global yes, this yes value contains san. I'm going to do the concatenation. Now, the entire value of it will be changed globally. If I try to print yes, what will happen? It's going to print san will. You can see. Now the global value is entirely changed. If you want to change inside the function, you can use you can declare global one keyword, and then you can make it as the same variable name. Yes, this is contains san, and then you can do the concatenation operation. Okay, this is how you can assign a local variable and global variable, and then you can replace the global variable using the global keyword inside the function. Okay, and then the last topic, small topic is there. It's very it's not that much important topic actually. What is the maximum possible value of integer in Python? We're going to see. What is the maximum possible value of integer in Python? Maximum possible value of integer in Python. You want to know the maximum value, right? You want to know the maximum value of integer in Python. in Python. On the day I said to you, right, maximum possible value of integer in Python. It depends on the architecture. If it is 64-bit architecture, 2 to the power 63 minus 1. If it's 30-bit architecture, 2 to the power of 32 minus 31 minus 1. Sorry, 2 to the power of 31 minus 1. Okay, now let's check. See, what I can do, print of 100 minus 100 I can put, right? Okay, I can do one thing. Print of 100 into 100. Print of, sorry, I want to print of 100 into 100. Okay, what I going to do, just I going to assign to a variable int m equal to 100 to the power of 100. 100 to the power of 100, sorry, m equal to 100 to the power of 100. Okay, type of m. Okay, see, if you take any huge values, it will be a int object. If you take Python 2.7 version, what will happen? Hold a minute.
This conference will now be recorded.
See, like what I did, right? 100 square of 100. I'm going to get some huge values. Okay, you can able to see, right? You are getting some huge values over here. Now, if you take Python 2.7 version, 2.7 version, okay, I'm going to declare one variable z equal to 20. If I see this type, if I see this type, I will get int type. I'll get int type. If I find type for m, I'll get the type as long. Type as long. Long as having 8 bytes. Long as having 8 bytes. But int is having 4 bytes. Int is having 4 bytes actually in 2.1 version. In Python 3 version, they removed this long type. They removed this long type. The entire thing they converted into int type. That's the thing you want to understand. Previously, for example, how to say, int is 4 bytes, right? 4 bytes means 2 to the power of 31 minus 1. Okay, I'll get some value 65 something, 65 some 36 some values I'll get. Okay, that much values it will show the type as int. If it cross more than some value 65536 value, it cross more than value, it will show us like a long type. In Python 3.0 version, they change everything to int type. Even though if you put 20, it's going to give a type as int only. Type as int. It's going to show integer object. Give me a minute. I will take online compiler version. We'll check over there. Online Python compiler version for 2.7. Okay. we'll check on this. I'm going to take m equal to 20, print type of m. Oh, for running what I would use. Okay, yeah, running there's a one button is there. Oh, it's asking like this. Okay. Python 2.7 compiler version online. Okay, let's try on this. Okay, now print type of x. Just execute. It's showing int type. Now what I'm going to do? 100 square of 100. Okay. If I find the type for z, it has to show long actually. Yeah, you can see what type is showing now. The type it's showing is long. Actually, you can able to see in the bottom. Okay, though in any huge value more than 8 bytes, okay, it will show the values long. In Python 3.0, what they did, right? What they did, now I'm going to find the type for m. Type of m. It's going to give same type as int type. It's an integer object. If anyone asked you what is the maximum value you can store in a integer, you can put 100 to the power of 100. Sorry, it's not the square. 100 to the power of 100. This much values you can able to store. Okay, that's what I want to see. Yeah, in tomorrow session we're going to see how to swap a variables. What are the modules we have for the variables we're going to see. As of now, I'm going to close this session.